Hi, this is Shadi, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Soviet-Russian army's training for combat, conditioning, and also just reaction, all the stuff that conditioned them to be great soldiers. We all know that, all the descendants from the Soviet blocs, whether it is Russia itself, Georgia, and all these countries that were under the Soviet curtain, are incredible wrestlers, weightlifters, just generally strong and great athletes. The Soviet Union has been gone for 30 years now, but somehow its wrestling / weightlifting ghost is very much still roaming the land. So today we're going to be taking a look at a lot of things: bayonet training, knives, swords, self-defense, open hand. We're gonna take a look at the multiple disciplines that they practice, whether it is grappling or striking, and there are quite a few. So this is a very important video to make. I've done already the US Rangers, the World War II, the Allied Forces. Also, I've done recently the Japanese self-defense forces. There is a lot to unpack, but you can see that a lot of prominent and classical jiu-jitsu self-defense techniques, not just, your today's judo, are very much prominent in all sorts of army training. Whether it works or not, I don't know. I'm not in the army. I've never sparred in these types of situations, but we can see that there are a lot of techniques that are very prominent. So let's begin. So here, let's take this scenery. This is very cool in my opinion. They created the scenery where everything is burning. You can barely see, you can barely breathe, and here they are drilling how to storm into buildings, how to train, how to condition themselves to work very efficiently under stress. Here you can see them with their bayonets, and in the snow, very harsh weather conditions as well. You're gonna see a lot of drilling outside and also sparring outside. Here you see very classical bayonet training, how to stab efficiently with your core. You advance your entire body, very similar to fencing, and also the bokken or the sword work that is done in old kenjutsu schools or even aikido. Yes, I know there's no sparring, etc., but nonetheless these principles are taught. Here you see them in arguably one of the strongest armies to have ever lived, doing the same, stepping forward with your entire core, stabbing. Here you are doing some drilling with the entire rifle, some knives and hatchet throws, and you have these little anatomy. They have to hit the target. Here you see some basic striking on targets, etc. You have your basic karate strikes or jujitsu strikes. You're gonna see a lot of it in a bit. Here you see against each other, they are trying to drill. Obviously they are coming in one at a time for editing and cinematic purposes. This is heavily edited as well. Here you see some restraining techniques, some arresting techniques, or what we call Renkoho Waza. They are found, I'll link a book in the description below for all stuff that has to do with wrist locks and self-defense by Mikunsuke Kaweshi. Here you see more like a standing juji gatame. You see here your basic wrist twist or kotegeshi, very popular in aikido, also old jujitsu schools, even in judo with the self-defense katas that later on was added to the judo curriculum by Kenji Tomiki. Here you can see it with the knife, the wrist twist, very popular, works if you are very well versed in it. Here you see even wrist locks, various wrist locks, drills. Also they can be found in the old judo curriculum in the old books. My Method of Self-Defense by Mikunsuke Kaweshi. Check out figure 50 on the left. You see the wrist lock that they were doing from behind the back. Also here the wrist lock where you compress the elbow to the wrist and you create braking mechanism on the wrist. Here it is being done with the knife by Kyuzo Mifune. Again, this is part of the Renkoho Waza or restraining techniques from old school judo. Here you see like the compression of the elbow or the tricep against the wrist, and you create a lot of pain. Here you see even more arresting techniques, the one that we saw like in figure 50, and also just disarming and really taking the shoulder back. Again, more wrist twists again here with the gun disarmament, using the same principle. Here you see like before they even withdraw the guns, you go and press it. You also see this Elio and Hickson Gracie do this, like before they take anything away from the back. You just here you see like some I see Uki Otoshi being very prominent when it comes to self-defense, the army, even like in general combat, taking someone's weight. You create this opening and then you throw them to the back or the front of uke. In case of uke, you see uke otoshi, the first technique of nage no kata. We saw it in the Japanese self-defense, and here we saw it in the Soviet. So here you see even more like classical hip throws like ogoshi and ukigoshi being performed. Very functional, works every time, and very basic at the same time. Here you see some ukemi drills at the same time. More self-defense, like those back hugs and restraining techniques. You see them very prominent in all military training around the world. Here you see like Ippon Seoinage being done from the back. We saw it also with the Japanese self-defense forces. We saw like in Seo Otoshi also can be done Seoinage if you can use your hips as lever. This is the main difference between Seoinage and Seo Otoshi. So your classical all around, here you see some open guard drills as well. So your classical all around techniques like wrist twists, Seoinage, hip tosses, you see them prominent. Here you can see some weapon sparring as well. You see all of it being repeated because the basics will work all over the globe. You can see them in old ancient wrestling as well, because the human body is the same. Here you see dummy training, also like jumping. You need to learn how to fall, whatever your discipline may be. Mainly BJJ guys, they need to learn how to fall. Even an Aikido guy knows how to fall. Here you see hatchet throws and knife throws, very efficient, and also hitting the target. Here you see some trenches training, and also creating this very realistic scenery, the fire, the smoke, the snow, going up, jumping against obstacles. Here you see going up, you see a soldier, someone that has run out of ammos. His rifle is a very good weapon again with the knife. Here, let's go to martial arts. You see hand conditioning, karate. You see them wearing even the gi, white belts, black belts, conditioning their hands, striking, weightlifting. We'll get to weightlifting in a little bit towards the end. Here you see some boxing with the shoes. So when they train a particular art, fencing, they pretty much embodied it. They even wear the gi. You see Sambo, Judo, Taekwondo, various martial arts. I was surprised that I did not see any wrestling. I really was surprised, since it's very effective. And here you see the fact that they separated between Sambo and Judo speaks volume, because there is a lot of stuff in Sambo that are just not there, that are in Judo, and vice versa. Here you see like your classical coach in his very bright colors, like the really reflects the 80s and the 90s. Here you see like a strike, and then Ippon Seoinage, very classical. Here you see like a double leg takedown finished with a classical ankle lock from the old jiu-jitsu, the straight ankle lock. Very easy to pull off, very easy to create breaking, very easy to pop the ankle. It's not like a heel hook you need to like set it up, etc. Here we go even more like they're sparring in the field, and drilling also as well. You see classical judo stuff like haraigoshi, basic atemi waza that very effective at the same time. Here you see the wrist twist that gets them to fall down. Here you see like a jumping juji gatame, taiotoshi, ankle like knee picks, and ochigari. It's very like heavily judo based. I'm sure you know the Vasily Oshchepkov story. He trained at the Kodokan and went to train with the army, and also started, Sambo. It came from it. So Judo should be very prominent, as well as karate, because Russia did lose the Russo-Japanese War in 1904, if I'm not mistaken. So they had to adopt a lot of things when Japan became present in Russia, including karate and judo. So you can see why, the big roots is a lot of jujitsu techniques, the karate, and here you see some judo as well. And at the same time, this is the stuff that works. Here, they continue with the film or the documentary. You see, ukemi is crucial. Anytime we start a training session in judo, the first thing we drill is ukemi. Ukemi should be drilled. Even in Aikido, it is drilled. I'm talking to mostly BJJ guys. You need to learn how to fall. One of the secrets to longevity is learning how to fall and, absorbing impact the right way. We do these all the time, the stuff you are seeing here in front of you. Here we see even more field training, conditioning themselves through realistic scenarios. Here you see your classical kata, guruma, or the fireman's carry in wrestling. Works every time, highly effective and highly lethal if done right with high impact. It can be done low amplitude and high amplitude. So it goes even further. Here you see like your classical waki gatame, and then finishes it with a wrist lock to disarm the knife. Your waki gatame, you can see also Kano Sensei with a photo of him doing it. So here you see a classical Kodokan demonstration of waki gatame. So here, see, it's very prominent, all jujitsu techniques and Japanese jujitsu and judo being present because they simply work. Here you see even more judo in case of self-defense, ippon seonage, shuji gatame, hip tosses, the stuff that works, wrist twists. You will see them all over the place. So I was not very surprised when I was watching this and trying to see what kind of techniques they were using. And also the fact that, judo clearly was very big in their culture till this day. It's not just wrestling. So let's move on to a little bit of weightlifting, explosive training, gymnastics, all sorts of stuff. Weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting and gymnastics are highly effective. Not just, it's not like bodybuilding, you're working on hypertrophy, but you're gaining zero functionality. Here, learning how to jump and how to fall, again, very crucial skill. Here you see it's a great example of how it could translate into the field, the front flips, and how to roll and fall gracefully without any impact. Also, explosive weightlifting, kettlebells, snatches, clean and jerks, power cleans, you know the drill. So here you see they are excellent gymnasts as well. Here you see they are working with military equipments, giving them back to each other, drilling. So if you want to learn more about the Russian method of weightlifting and longevity and how to put on mass and strength and agility and explosiveness, I suggest you go watch the JRE, where he hosted Pavel Tatsulin. I believe that's his name. It's a great podcast. He explains the Russian method perfectly and why they were so ahead of their American counterparts. It's not, I know doping is big historically, but also the training methodology. Firas Zahabi explains that Russians, they train every day, but at a frequency that it does not stress the body, while Americans train 2 to 3 times a week, but they go all out to the point of stress, and it becomes harder to recover. He explained this. Even the Thai fighters, they spar moderately and they leave fighting for fight day, as he explained. So this is one of the secrets for their longevity and recovery. So I suggest you go watch all these because they are great in enriching your culture, because all of us as martial artists, I'm sure we do some sort of conditioning training, whether it is calisthenics, kettlebells, weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, a hybrid of all of these I suggest you stay within the 6 to 8 rep range. It's very healthy for your joints and also good for hypertrophy and strength. I've covered this before, so this is mainly it. I'm sure you've seen all these jiu-jitsu techniques. I've talked about them: self-defense, the army, etc. All of them found in kata or just classical judo. So if you have anything else to add, let me know down below. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon. I have exclusive content for the patrons only, and also don't forget to check out Josh Simon's shop for historical t-shirts and historical articles. I will leave it all in the description down below. Also, the PDF for my method of self-defense by Mikunsuke Kawaishi. This was Shadi, and as always, thank you for listening.